ARFCOM, about to be the real hero of ARFCOM, Alan West, Lieutenant Colonel Alan West. Are you there?
Yes, I am. Good evening to you. How are you doing?
Good evening, and I can't thank you enough for being on the show tonight. I really can't. I don't know
it's my honor.
I don't know how familiar you are with our website, AR15.com.
No, I just found out about you, and it's great to have an opportunity to chat with you. So, let's share information and help me to learn more about you.
Let's do it. We are the #1 gun website on the internet. We have roughly 14,000 individual different people come on every day and surf through the site. The main part of the site is a pretty big discussion board. And every time you put a video out, and I remember the first video I saw of you was here on ARFCOM. Every time you put a video out, it generates some serious discussion. And most of it, 99% of it is like, wow, where is this guy been all our lives?
Well, I've been, serving in the United States Army for 22 years. I retired down here in South Florida in 2004. Taught high school for a year, and then got the call to go back and do a 2.5-year stint as civilian military advisor to the Afghan Army down in Kandahar. And then some people thought that I had what it took to give a run at a congressional seat down here. We ran in 2008 after I got back from Afghanistan, and in an 8-month campaign, we still pulled in 45.3%. And now we're back in 2010, so we can seal the deal and we can work to get our country back on the right track.
Absolutely. And, I have full faith in you this time around. I wasn't aware of your campaign in 2008, but I've gone back since and studied it. And it's amazing the amount of numbers you got with what little money you were able to raise and what little time you actually had to campaign.
Yeah, because, the thing about no matter what you've done in your military career, folks look at politics in a total different light, and we didn't get any support from the state or the national party, but you never tell a paratrooper what he can't do, and so we stuck to our guns, and we raised $583,000 against an incumbent who had $3.3 million, and we came within 5 points of pulling it off. So now we're back in 2010 stronger.
That's just fantastic. Let's get started on the #1 issue that my listeners are interested in, and that's Second Amendment. Yeah. That's Second Amendment. So,
absolutely.
You've got the Heller case in D.C. that just went through. That was for gun owners. You've got McDonald versus Chicago coming through. The current administration has been very quiet about anything gun-related, but the big fear is that they're just waiting to get some of their other pieces of the agenda down the pipe and then try to ram something through anti-Second Amendment. What are your thoughts about the Second Amendment?
Well, one of the things is very simple. I mean, it is a right to the American people to keep and bear arms. I think that what you have to realize is that if you lose your Second Amendment, your First Amendment will go away. You can look back at the mid-1930s. One of the things that Hitler did was he took away private gun ownership, and therefore you turn the people into sheeple. So I think that right now, when you look at having an armed and informed law-abiding citizenry, it is very important that they are able to protect themselves from, the tyranny of government and also the benevolence of these activist judges who are putting these criminals out on the street. So, it's not a right that should be infringed upon. And I think that one of the things with the liberal left legislative agenda, they are very scared of the American people being able to protect themselves. They would be more than happy to have the type of situation that you see over in Iran. So, I'm an NRA member. I have a concealed weapons permit down here in the state of Florida, so you know where my heart lies.
Well, now that I know you have a concealed weapons permit, I have to ask you a question that we ask each other all the time here on AR15.com, and that is 9mm or 45?
Well, it's interesting you say that because initially I started out in the military with the 45, and then, of course, we went to the 9mm. And right now I'm probably leaning at going toward a 40 caliber, and I've been looking at some handguns down here, so I'll probably within the next couple of months be purchasing a 40 caliber.
Oh, okay. 40 cal. Wow. Neither 9 or 45. I have a question IM'd to me from one of our members here at AR15.com. His name is Mr. Floppy, and his question was, could you ask Alan West what he thinks about lifting the ban on machine guns?
Well, the thing with the assault weapons, once again, I think that, Americans need to be looked at as responsible and accountable individuals. And I don't have any problems with Americans going out and buying those class of weapons as long as they are, operating within the right rule of law. Now, I would tell you one of the things that I do support, and it's because of a personal episode that I had with one of my young lieutenants. I think it's very important that we do have this waiting period to make sure that we do all the right background checks and what have you, because I had a lieutenant back when I was a captain, a company commander at Fort Riley, Kansas, who found out some things about his wife, was not happy about it. He immediately went down to a gun show, and back in the early 80s, the late 80s, he was pretty easily able to go out, purchase a weapon right there, and then he went and shot his wife and shot himself. So that was a traumatic experience, but, I don't believe in infringing upon the American people.
Okay. That's a fair enough answer. One of the big problems, the issues that affects us all is illegal immigration and the amnesty situation.
Huge issue. That's a huge issue. Illegal immigration, let me tell you something. Illegal immigration is first and foremost is an economic issue because, we are providing financial benefits for people who are here illegally. They are violating our laws. They're violating our sovereignty as a nation. They're depressing our wages for American citizens. And there's a criminal element that's involved in it as well. And that's what makes it a national security issue. I just got finished talking to a group tonight telling them that the number one language that's being learned by the Islamic terrorists that's come in through our southern boundary is Spanish. So we have got to do something to control our borders. President Ronald Reagan back in 1986 tried this amnesty program with about 3 million. The government to this point has not secured and enforced our borders or anything similar to our laws. So we have got to get people in Washington, D.C. that will stand up and make sure that E-Verify is used. We've got to clean out our prisons. And, there are only 3 people that should be here in this country, people that are Americans, people that want to be Americans, and tourists.
Okay, I understand completely, and I do completely agree with that. Now, that brings me to another thing, the war on drugs. But before we get to that, I want to remind everybody, your website is Alan West for Congress, Alan West, FOR, Congress.com. If anyone, now we contributed, ARFCOMers contributed a lot of money to Scott Brown up in Massachusetts, and I want to see the same type of support for Alan West come out of you guys, ARFCOMers. You know who you are. You guys that can contribute, please contribute to this guy. He is a true conservative. He's not a rhino. He's not going to speak conservative and get to Congress and flip-flop the way other people have in the past. But let's get back to the war on drugs real quick. You've got so many people that say, this thing is just a failure. It's just failed. It's done nothing but put billions of dollars into the hands of the cartels. On the other hand, you've got people that say, we can't just let drugs run rampant through our communities. Where do you stand on this?
Well, I stand on the latter side. I have a good buddy of mine is a DEA agent, lives right around the corner from me, and I've had this discussion with him. And, I have a daughter, 16 and 13 years of age, and we can't just give up on this thing. And I think that what we have to do, and it's the exact same thing that we're doing with this war that we're against the Islamic terrorists, we've got to fully commit ourselves, and we can't go in with these half measures. We have got to track these narco-terrorists and these drug lords and drug cartels, and we've got to crush them. And I think one of the key things that we have to do is with our Border Patrol, I think the Border Patrol should be brought under the Department of Defense because this is a war that's going on down along our border. So that way we can properly arm them, properly train them, and equip them as well with the right type of resources so that they can effectively engage this enemy. You're seeing this thing spill over from Juarez, Mexico. We're having American citizens now that are living in fear along the borders. So this comes back once again to one of the foundational principles and mandates of the Constitution, which says that you're supposed to provide for the common defense. And that's something that this federal government is failing on. They're so much worried about, health care and other things which can very easily be